How come so many people are absolutely fixated on getting the right tool? They just are so convinced that they can't just unsee something and life will get better. They need something outside of themselves in order for things to get better. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
sometimes you can try to convince someone, be like, no, actually, you don't need all this additional stuff. But what if they are just so convinced that something is wrong and they need something else for things to get better? Why do people kind of fall into that?
you know, that's a good question. For me, I'll speak for me. The built-in mechanism in our mind that has voices, that speaks to you, is very loud. It's very loud. It tells you need to go somewhere else. You're not okay where you're at. Why are you here? You could be better. You could do things differently. That voice, especially when you're in a vulnerable space, or when you're 8 years old and you're getting bullied and you're coming home to parents that don't speak the language, and the only language you have is the person in your mind who happens to know you very well, who happens to know every move that you make, who happens to know how you talk, how you express yourself, and it knows when to talk and when to pause enough for you to get you even more scared. That voice is extremely loud, and it is still for me. And so we look for ways to change thought. We look for ways to change the voice in our heads, which makes sense. If the voice is bothering you, change it. If the voice is bothering you, make it quieter, make it sound like a funny thing. In neurolinguistic programming, that was the essence. I studied neurolinguistic programming for many years, and I thought that was a solution. They said, you have voices in your head, reframe it or pre-frame it, or change the color of that image in your mind, or the voice in your mind, and it did wonders for me. And I remember there was a time, one of the founders, Richard Bandler, had a gentleman on stage who had frightening thoughts about work all the time. And so Richard Bandler, as brilliant as he was, he got the guy on stage and said, "Let me ask you something, sir. If there was a really ugly painting on the wall," and he pointed behind him and said, "and it was really scary and it was ugly, what would you do with that painting?" And he said, "Well, if it's ugly and annoying and scary," he goes, "I would just take it off the wall and throw it away." And everyone clapped. He goes, "See, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take that annoying voice and thought in your head, and we're going to throw it away." And everyone cheered. And something about that didn't jive with me. I paused for a minute and I went, what if the guy just knew it was just a fucking painting on a wall? Like, what if that was what we taught people? Instead of going, we're going to change that painting, we're going to recolor it. What if it was just a painting on the wall and it just looked like you didn't like it? Sure, you could throw it away, but it wouldn't affect your life the way it would if you thought that painting on the wall really says who you are, or really says the kind of person you're going to be. And I started to notice something. What if the thoughts in my mind are just as significant as a painting on a wall? Then I wouldn't be in any rush to change it. It just would look ugly, might not be the colors I like, it might not be the experience I want, but it's made from the same material as the beautiful paintings we're going to replace. And that's something that I really instinctually figured out for myself. I said, wait a minute, I'm going to either throw the painting out, or I'm going to paint over the painting with the same material that the first painting was made out of. And I started to see thought in of itself is made from the same material as the new ones that I'm going to use to replace the first one. And if we could see on a deeper level that the first ones are made from this transient energy, made from the same ones as the new ones you're waiting to replace it with, why are we so afraid of them? Now, I saw that on a deeper level. I'm not saying anyone here listening will, or the people that are in their heads are going to. They may just go, that means nothing to me. But when you step back and truly see that for yourself, when you see it, to see if that's fundamentally true, it does something for people. I don't know why it does. It's the weirdest thing. It does. And what's really crazy about this is they will see something and tell someone else a weird analogy or something they saw for themselves, and people go, I have no idea what you're freaking talking about, because it touched them not from a language, but from an experiential feeling, from a feeling deep inside. And so as soon as that happens, we try to express it in language, and it just doesn't translate well, because that kind of seeing doesn't translate well in language. But language is the easiest thing for us to find in the world. So when we're in despair, we go to language to find a solution instead of looking within, because that language is a different language. So to your question, why do people look for tools and strategies? Because it's just more easily available. It's in front of us all the time. Books are available, podcasts are available, webinars available, going to an event is available, reading something online is available all the time. But taking the time to look within, that's also available, but it just takes a little bit more time to look in that direction. It just takes a little bit more time or awareness or self-reflection to go, maybe I've done all this looking on the outside, but I haven't looked into one place that every guru tells me to look in. Every, strategy that I'm going to go look tells me to look at. Every, book that I've read tells me to do, which is to do what? To look within. And we say, oh, I know that, but I need to fix this now. I know, but look inside, look within. Yeah, but it's, I need something quicker. And that thing that's telling you to look quicker, that's the very thing that you need to go spend some time with.